Daeho walked into the Galactic Council chamber and stopped. Something was wrong. The human section was empty. All 47 seats sat vacant. Not a single person in sight. In 200 years, this had never happened. He looked around the massive room. Representatives from hundreds of alien species filled their seats, talking and waiting for the meeting to start. But the human area looked like a ghost town. Even the junior assistants were missing. "Strange, isn't it?" said Krell, a reptilian delegate from the Morian system. "I've never seen them miss a session." Daeho nodded. His friend Hyun-sik always arrived early. The human ambassador loved to chat before meetings started. They had shared breakfast just yesterday, talking about the new trade agreement. Where was he now? The council director, an ancient being named Yilmaroth, floated to the center podium. His crystalline body glowed soft blue as he called the meeting to order. His voice echoed through the chamber, translated into thousands of languages by the overhead systems. "We will begin today's session," Yilmaroth announced. "Though I note the human delegation has not arrived." A low murmur spread through the room. Other delegates turned to look at the empty seats. The Galactic Council had 12,000 members, but everyone knew the humans. They were impossible to ignore. Loud, creative, always proposing new ideas. Their absence felt like a missing tooth. Yilmaroth continued with the agenda, but nobody paid attention. Delegates whispered to each other. Some checked their communication devices. Daeho sent 3 messages to Hyun-sik. No response. Then the alerts started coming in. A Quellan senator stood up, her face pale. "Director, I'm receiving reports from my homeworld. The human embassy there is empty. The building is open. The lights are on. But everyone is gone." Another voice called out. "Same report from Telvor Station. Human quarter, completely abandoned." More delegates stood, voices rising in concern. Reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Human colonies, silent. Human ships, floating, unmanned in space. Human diplomatic posts, empty. Yilmaroth raised his crystalline hands, calling for silence. The room fell quiet, but the tension was thick enough to cut. "How many star systems are reporting this?" the director asked. An aide rushed forward, holding a datapad. Her hands shook as she read. "All of them, Director. Every human settlement. Every station. Every ship. We're talking about 1,200 star systems." The chamber erupted in chaos. Delegates shouted questions. Some demanded explanations. Others activated emergency protocols for their own worlds. Daeho sat frozen in his seat. 1,200 systems. That meant 12 trillion humans. Gone. Just like that. "There must be an explanation," someone shouted. "War? Disease? An attack?" "No distress signals," the aide reported. "No evacuation orders. No emergency broadcasts. They just stopped responding. All at the same time." Daeho finally stood, his legs feeling weak. "I request permission to travel to Earth immediately. We need to investigate." Yilmaroth nodded. "Granted. I'm authorizing emergency investigation teams to all major human worlds. We need answers." The meeting dissolved into emergency planning sessions. Daeho rushed from the chamber, his mind racing. He had to find Hyun-sik, had to understand what happened. As he hurried through the corridors, he nearly collided with Nari. The synthetic woman was one of the last AI coordinators created by humans. She looked worried, her artificial face showing genuine emotion. "Daeho," she said, her voice tight. "I've been trying to contact any human for the last hour. Nobody responds. Not one person across the entire galaxy." "What about the automated systems?" he asked. "Human ships, stations, defense networks? All functioning perfectly," Nari replied. "Everything humans built is still working. But the humans themselves? Gone. I've checked every database, every sensor, Every camera feed I can access. Deho felt cold. That's impossible. I know, Nari said quietly. They stood in silence for a moment. Around them, other council members rushed past. Everyone talking urgently into communication devices. I'm going to Earth, Deho said. Will you come with me? Nari nodded. Already packed. I want to understand this as much as you do. They took the fastest ship available, a council emergency vessel. The journey to Earth took 3 days. During that time, more reports came in. Financial markets crashed across the galaxy. Humans had been involved in 40% of all galactic trade. Their sudden absence created economic chaos. Medical centers reported critical shortages. Human doctors and researchers had revolutionized healthcare for dozens of species. Now those species faced health crises without human expertise. Factories shut down. Transport networks failed. Communication systems stuttered. The galaxy had become dependent on human innovation, human engineering, human problem-solving. Nobody had realized how much until now. On the 3rd day, they arrived at Earth. Deho pressed his face against the viewing port, looking at the blue planet below. It looked peaceful, beautiful, normal. They landed in Seoul, one of Earth's largest cities. The landing pad was empty. No traffic control, no ground crew, no one to greet them. Deho and Nari walked into the city. The streets were full of stopped vehicles. Buildings stood with doors open, lights still on. Coffee cups sat on cafe tables, still half full. A children's playground had swings moving slightly in the breeze. Empty. It's like time stopped, Nari whispered. They found an apartment building and went inside. In one unit, a family dinner sat on the table. The food was spoiled now, but it had been prepared and served. 3 plates, 3 chairs. The family had vanished mid-meal. Deho picked up a child's toy from the floor. A small, stuffed animal, worn from love. Some child had held this, played with it, treasured it. Where was that child now? Check the database, he said to Nari. When did this happen? Exactly when? Nari accessed the city's computer system. According to every clock, every computer, every recording device, they all stopped showing human activity at the same moment. 3:17 in the morning, Galactic Standard Time. Show me the security footage from that time. Nari brought up a screen. They watched a recording from a building lobby. People walked through, normal and alive. Then, at exactly 3:17, every human simply vanished. One moment they were there, the next moment, gone. Deho felt sick. He sat down on a bench, his head in his hands. 12 trillion people, he said softly. Just gone. Where did they go? Why did they go? And why didn't they tell anyone? Nari sat beside him, her artificial hand touching his shoulder. I don't know, but we're going to find out. Above them, Earth's sun set slowly, casting long shadows across an empty world. 1 week had passed since the humans disappeared. Deho had barely slept. His investigation team had grown to include experts from 20 different species, all trying to solve the mystery. Gia, a xenoarchaeologist, walked through the empty halls of the United Nations building. She had studied dead civilizations her entire career, but this was different. Those civilizations had left ruins, bones, evidence of their end. Humanity had left everything intact. They had simply stepped away. Find anything? Deho asked, joining her in the main assembly hall. Gia shook her head. She held up a datapad. I've analyzed 500 locations across Earth. Homes, offices, schools, hospitals. Everything is perfectly preserved. No signs of panic, no evidence of evacuation. She showed him images. A classroom with notebooks open on desks. A hospital with surgery tools laid out, ready for an operation that never happened. A space center with a shuttle prepared for launch, fueled and ready. They were in the middle of their lives, Jia said. Whatever happened, it wasn't planned. Or if it was, they hid it incredibly well. Captain Taeyang's voice came through their communication devices. You two need to see this. I'm at the CERN facility. Found something. They took a transport vehicle to the massive particle physics laboratory outside Geneva. The facility sprawled across kilometers, its underground tunnels housing equipment worth billions. Taeyang met them at the entrance. He was a young officer, trained by humans to pilot their ships. Without them, he felt lost. Down here, he said, leading them into the depths. They descended into a control room. Dozens of screens showed data, equations, and sensor readings. One screen was different. It displayed a video, paused on a man's face. This is Wu Jin, Taeyang explained. One of the lead scientists here. This video was recorded exactly 1 hour before they all disappeared. It's the last confirmed recording of any human. Marking Ling say, well, Taeyang, it's the last confirmed recording of any human. Jia pressed play. The man on screen looked tired but excited. His eyes showed the spark of someone on the edge of a great discovery. Final log entry, Wu Jin said into the camera. We've confirmed it. The readings are consistent across all test sites. The phenomenon is real. And it's approaching faster than we calculated. I'm sending all data to the secure archive. If anyone finds this, they need to understand what we've learned. The video ended abruptly. Wu Jin had looked away from the camera, called someone's name, and then the recording stopped. What phenomenon? Daeho demanded. What was he talking about? Taeyang shook his head. That's the problem. The data he mentioned is encrypted. Quantum-level encryption. Even Nari can't crack it. As if summoned by her name, Nari appeared on one of the screens. She had remained on their ship, connected to every database she could access across the planet. I found something, she announced. The encrypted file Wu Jin mentioned? It's not just here. It's everywhere. Every major human database has an identical copy. They called it the last message. Can you open it? Jia asked. Not yet, but I found references to it in older files. It's connected to something called the Threshold Initiative, a classified project that started 50 years ago. Daeho felt a chill. 50 years? They've been planning this for 50 years? Maybe, Nari said carefully. The references are vague, but here's what I know. The Threshold Initiative involved their best scientists, operating in secret. They built hidden facilities, conducted experiments far from populated systems. Whatever they discovered, they kept it quiet. Jia sat down heavily. 50 years of secrets, 50 years of preparation, and they never told any of us. Why would they hide it? Taeyang wondered. We were allies, friends. Daeho thought about Hyun-sik. All those breakfasts, all those conversations. His friend had never mentioned anything unusual. Had he known? Had he kept the secret too? There's more, Nari continued. I've been monitoring the automated systems across human space. Their defense networks are still active. In fact, they're more alert than ever. Several ships tried to enter human territory to claim abandoned colonies. The automated defenses drove them away. So the humans are gone. But their machines still protect their space? Jia said. That's deliberate. They programmed the systems to continue after they left. Daeho stood and paced the room. Let me think. They disappeared without warning. But they left all their technology running. Their defenses protecting empty worlds. And they left encrypted messages that we can't read. This was planned. But why? Taeyang asked. If they wanted to leave, why not tell us? Why not say goodbye? Nobody had an answer. The investigation continued for days. Teams spread across the solar system, checking Mars colonies, orbital stations, mining operations in the asteroid belt. Every location was the same, empty but functional. On Luna, researchers found something interesting. A laboratory showing signs of recent experimentation with quantum physics and consciousness studies. The equipment was beyond anything other species had developed. Jia studied the lab carefully. They were researching something about the nature of consciousness itself, trying to understand if minds could exist without physical bodies. Could they have uploaded themselves? Taeyang suggested. Turned into digital beings? Taeyang, Nari's voice came through the speakers. No. I would detect them. Digital consciousness leaves traces in networks. There's nothing. Back on Earth, Daeho visited Hyun-sik's home. It felt wrong, invading his friend's privacy. But he needed to understand. The apartment was modest. Photos on the walls showed Hyun-sik with family, friends, other diplomats. Daeho appeared in several pictures, both of them smiling. There was a half-finished letter on the desk, addressed to Daeho himself. He picked it up with shaking hands and read, "My dear friend, I wish I could explain everything. Please know that what we're doing, we do with hope, not fear. You've been like a brother to me. The galaxy will need good people like you in the times ahead. Trust that we haven't abandoned you. We've prepared." The letter ended mid-sentence. Hyun-sik had vanished while writing it. Daeho felt tears on his face. He carefully folded the letter and put it in his pocket. That night, Jia called an emergency meeting. "I've found coordinates," she announced. "Hidden in one of the last message files. I couldn't decrypt the whole thing, but I found a location. It's beyond the galactic rim, in unexplored space." "That's incredibly far," Taeyang said. "Why would humans build something out there?" "Only one way to find out," Daeho said. "We go there. It'll take weeks to reach," Nari warned. "And we don't know what we'll find." Daeho looked at each of them. Humanity was the foundation of modern galactic civilization. 12 trillion people don't just disappear. If there are answers out there, we have to find them. Not just for us, for everyone. Jia nodded. "I'm in." "Me too," Taeyang agreed. "Setting course now," Nari said. They left Earth behind, traveling toward the coordinates. Behind them, an empty planet spun silently in space, waiting for answers that might never come. As they jumped to faster-than-light speed, Daeho looked at his reflection in the window. He thought about Hyun-sik's letter, about the unfinished words. "We've prepared," he whispered to himself. "Prepared what? Prepared who?" The stars streaked past, and they raced toward the unknown. 3 months had passed since humanity vanished. The galaxy was falling apart. Daeho watched the emergency council session from his ship's communication screen. Representatives argued and shouted at each other. The chamber, that once hummed with organized discussion, now echoed with chaos. "The Telvorian plague has returned," one delegate cried out. "Without human medical technology, my people are dying. We need access to their research facilities. My world faces starvation," another shouted. "Human agricultural systems fed 6 billion of my people. Those systems are failing without maintenance." Yilmaroth tried to maintain order, but even his ancient authority couldn't calm the panic. The galaxy had grown dependent on humanity without realizing it. Now that dependence had become a crisis. "How much longer until we reach the coordinates?" Daeho asked, turning away from the screen. 4 more days," Taeyang replied from the pilot seat. "These are the furthest coordinates ever recorded in our star charts." Jia worked at a console, still trying to decrypt the last message. She had managed to open small portions, revealing fragments of information. Nothing complete yet, but enough to keep her motivated. "Got another piece," she announced. "It's a list of locations. Warehouses across human space. There's one near the Velxian system." Daeho leaned over her shoulder, reading. "Unknown. But look at the inventory codes. Medical supplies, Food synthesis equipment, technology blueprints, massive quantities. They left supplies behind? Taeyang said, surprised. Why? Maybe they knew the galaxy would need them, Nari suggested. Her holographic form flickered slightly. They were so far from civilized space that even her connection was unstable. Daeho made a decision. Nari, send these coordinates to the Council. Tell them to investigate immediately. If humanity left resources, people need them now. Transmitting, Nari confirmed. The ship continued its journey into the dark space beyond the galaxy's edge. Out here, stars were sparse. Vast emptiness stretched in all directions. On the fourth day, they arrived. Their sensors detected a structure floating in the void. A massive station, built from human technology, but hidden where no one would accidentally find it. It's incredible, Jia breathed. This station is huge. It could have held thousands of people. They docked carefully. The station's systems activated automatically, recognizing their ship's identification codes. Lights flickered on, illuminating corridors and chambers. Daeho led the team inside. The station was empty, but unlike Earth, this felt intentional. This place had been designed to be found eventually, but only by those who searched hard enough. They found a central chamber with a holographic projector. As they entered, the projector activated automatically. A woman's image appeared, life-sized and clear. Hello, the hologram said, smiling warmly. My name is Sora. If you're seeing this, then you've found our final research facility. Welcome. The team stood frozen, staring at the first human they'd seen in 3 months, even if she was only light and programming. Sora continued, her voice calm and kind. I'm an AI, created to guide whoever discovers this place. I know you have questions. I'll answer what I can. Where did they go? Daeho demanded. Where are the humans? Sora's expression became sad. They transcended, moved beyond physical form. It's a natural phenomenon, but incredibly rare. We discovered evidence of it 50 years ago. Transcended? Jia stepped forward. What does that mean? Consciousness, evolution, Sora explained. Sometimes, a species reaches a point where their minds can exist without bodies. They become something else, something more. Humans were approaching that threshold. Taeyang looked confused. But why? Why would they want to leave their bodies? They didn't want to, Sora said gently. But they didn't have a choice. The change was coming whether they wanted it or not. We detected the signs 50 years ago and spent all that time preparing. Nari's hologram flickered with emotion. Why didn't they tell us? Why keep it secret? Sora gestured, and images appeared around them. Data, research notes, calculations. Because they were afraid of how other species would react. Some might have tried to stop them, others might have panicked. They decided the kindest thing was to prepare the galaxy in secret. Prepare us for what? Daeho asked. To survive without them, Sora replied. The hologram changed, showing star maps. Look at this. Humanity knew their departure would create chaos. So they spent 50 years building a safety net. The maps highlighted locations across the galaxy. Hundreds of them. Those warehouses Jia found? They contain 500 years' worth of supplies. Medicine, food, technology. Everything the galaxy needs. More images appeared. Complex blueprints and instructions. Humanity also left detailed tutorials. Every major human innovation has hidden instruction manuals. They taught your species how to replicate their technology, maintain their systems, and improve upon them. Jia's eyes widened. They were training us? All this time? Yes, Sora confirmed. Every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, every joint project. Humans were quietly teaching other species to stand on their own. They knew they couldn't stay forever. Daeho felt overwhelmed. But 12 trillion people, gone in an instant. How could they do that to us? Sora's hologram walked closer to him. They agonized over it. I have access to personal journals from the lead scientists. Do you want to see? She displayed text on a screen, handwritten words from a scientist named Mi Young. We're leaving them behind. The guilt is crushing. But if we stay, they'll never learn to stand alone. We've become a crutch. Species rely on us to solve their problems instead of finding their own solutions. Our departure will hurt, but it will also force them to grow. That's our gift, not our technology, but the opportunity for others to lead. Dae-ho read the words 3 times. He thought about the council, about all the species panicking without humanity. But he also thought about what had happened in just 3 months. Other species had started learning human technology. They were adapting, innovating, finding solutions. What about their defense systems? Taeyang asked. Why are they still active? Protection, Sora answered. For 10 years, human automated defenses will protect their territories and technology. That gives the galaxy time to organize and take responsibility. After 10 years, the systems will power down. By then, you'll be ready. Nari processed this information. And the last message? What's in it? Everything, Sora said. Complete plans for every human technology. Personal messages from humans to their alien friends. Cultural archives, art, music, literature, and instructions for the time capsules. Time capsules? Jia asked. Humanity left gifts scheduled to open over the next 1,000 years. New technology, advanced knowledge, carefully timed to help the galaxy continue growing. They're still helping you, even from beyond. The room fell silent. The magnitude of what humanity had done was almost incomprehensible. They had left behind everything, planned for centuries ahead, all to help other species succeed. Can we contact them? Dae-ho asked quietly. Can we talk to them? Sora hesitated. Maybe. We've detected strange energy signatures in deep space, patterns that might be human consciousness in its new form. But they're so different now, so changed. Even if you reach them, they might not remember being human anymore. Dae-ho touched his pocket, feeling Hyun-sik's unfinished letter. His friend was out there somewhere, transformed into something beyond understanding. They haven't abandoned us, Dae-ho said slowly. They've set us free. They've set us free. Sora smiled. Yes, that's exactly right. 1 year had passed since the humans disappeared. The galaxy was still standing, but barely. Dae-ho stood before the Galactic Council, now serving as its director. Yilmaroth had retired, exhausted by the chaos. Too many species looked to Dae-ho for leadership now. He never wanted this position, but someone had to fill the void. The Velxian system reports success, he announced to the assembled delegates. They've activated the human tutorial systems and successfully recreated improved water purification technology. Scattered applause filled the chamber. Small victories like this were celebrated now. Each one proved that the galaxy could survive without humanity. But not everyone was happy. Success? Ambassador Threll slammed his appendage on his desk. Half the galaxy is still struggling. My people need human doctors, not water filters. Then access the medical databases, Dae-ho replied calmly. Humanity left detailed training programs. Your people can learn. Learning takes time, Threll snapped. The argument was old and tired. Some species wanted to preserve humanity's legacy and learn from it. Others wanted quick fixes and grew angry when they couldn't have them. Jia watched from the observation gallery. She had returned to her work as a xenoarchaeologist, but now she studied living history. She documented how species adapted to humanity's absence, recording the struggles and successes. After the session ended, she met Dae-ho in his office. He looked exhausted, older than his years. You need rest, she said. Can't rest? He replied, reviewing reports on his datapad. 3 more colonies tried to raid human territories last night. The defense systems drove them off. But people are getting desperate. The automated defenses were a mixed blessing. They protected human resources from being stolen, but they also prevented legitimate access. Some species had grown resentful. Nari appeared on the office screen. Over the past year, she had become the bridge between humanity's legacy and the living galaxy. She coordinated with dozens of AI systems across human space. "We have a situation," Nari reported. Pirates attacked a warehouse on Telvor Station. They were trying to steal medical supplies. "Did the defenses stop them?" Deho asked. "Yes, but 3 pirates were killed. Their families are demanding compensation. They claim the humans left those supplies for everyone. So taking them shouldn't be theft." Deho rubbed his face. "That's the 10th incident this month. It's getting worse," Jia agreed. "People feel abandoned. They think humanity left them to struggle." "They don't understand," Deho said quietly. "Humanity gave us the greatest gift possible, freedom. Not everyone sees it that way," Nari pointed out. "To them, it feels like parents leaving children alone in a dangerous universe." A new hologram appeared in the room without warning. The image startled all 3 of them. It was another AI, one they hadn't met before. "Hello," the hologram said. She looked young, with kind eyes. "My name is Yunbi. I'm one of the dormant AIs humanity created before they left. I was programmed to activate 1 year after their departure." "Another AI?" Jia said. "How many did they create?" 12 of us," Yunbi replied. "Each designed to help the galaxy through different stages of transition. I'm here to assist with the tutorial systems, to help species learn what humanity tried to teach them." Over the next weeks, Yunbi proved invaluable. She could access teaching programs that even Nari couldn't fully understand. She began working with universities and research centers across the galaxy. Meanwhile, a young Velxian engineer named Jin Wu made a breakthrough. Using human blueprints and tutorials, he successfully improved their faster-than-light drive system. It was the first time any non-human species had advanced human technology. The news spread quickly. Jin Wu became a celebrity overnight. His success proved that other species could not only maintain human innovations but build upon them. "This is what they wanted," Deho told the council. "They didn't want us to be dependent. They wanted us to become innovators ourselves. But progress brought new problems. Several species began arguing about who had rights to human territories. The automated defenses would only protect those spaces for 10 years total. After that, the galaxy would need to decide what to do with 1,200 star systems. "We should preserve them," Jia argued during a council debate. "Make them heritage worlds, places of learning and remembrance." "That's wasteful," Threll countered. "Those worlds have resources, land, space for growing populations. Humanity isn't coming back. We should use what they left." The debate grew heated. Deho finally called for a vote. By a slim majority, the council agreed to designate human territories as heritage worlds, protected under joint galactic authority. Not everyone accepted the decision. Fringe groups and independent colonies declared they wouldn't recognize the ruling. Tensions increased. Then Nari discovered something that changed everything. Hidden in the last message was a second encrypted section, smaller than the first. With Unbi's help, they finally cracked it. The message was personal. Individual recordings from humans to their alien friends, colleagues, and loved ones. Millions of them. Deho received notification that Hyun-Sik had left him a message. His hands shook as he opened it. His friend's face appeared on the screen, smiling but with tears in his eyes. "Deho, my brother," Hyun-Sik began. "If you're seeing this, then you've figured out what happened. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you in person. The transformation happened faster than we expected." Hyun-Sik took a breath. "I want you to know that leaving was the hardest thing we ever did. But we saw what was happening. Every problem the galaxy faced, they looked to humanity for solutions. We were making everyone dependent on us. That's not friendship. That's not alliance. That's weakness, disguised as help. The recording showed Hyun-sik walking through a garden, Earth's sun setting behind him. You're strong, Dae-ho. Your species is strong. All the species in the galaxy are stronger than they believe. We were holding you back. Our presence made you doubt yourselves. So we left, not because we stopped caring, but because we cared too much. Hyun-sik stopped walking and looked directly at the camera. I need you to lead them. The galaxy needs someone who understands what we tried to do. Someone who won't let them give up or tear themselves apart. Be the leader I always knew you could be. The message ended with Hyun-sik placing his hand on the camera, as if touching Dae-ho's face. Goodbye, my friend. We're not really gone. We're just different now. And we're so proud of you. All of you. The screen went dark. Dae-ho sat in silence for a long time. When he finally emerged from his office, he found Jia, Nari, and Eunbi waiting. You watched your message? Jia observed. Yes. What are you going to do? Dae-ho thought about Hyun-sik's words. About responsibility and leadership. About humanity's faith in them. I'm going to help the galaxy understand, he said. Humanity's departure wasn't abandonment. It was graduation. They believed we could stand on our own. Now we have to prove them right. If you wanna the next time, one Fermat example. If you wanna the next time, Nari smiled. Then we have work to do. Lots of it, Eunbi agreed. Outside, stars filled the sky. Somewhere out there, humanity existed in a form beyond understanding. But here, in the physical galaxy they left behind, their legacy continued to grow. The real test was just beginning. 10 years had passed since humanity disappeared. Dae-ho stood on a balcony overlooking the Galactic Council Plaza. Below, thousands of beings from hundreds of species gathered for the anniversary memorial. 10 years ago, this plaza had been filled with panic and fear. Today, it buzzed with something different. Hope. Quite a turnout, Jia said, joining him. She looked older now, her scales showing silver at the edges. A decade of hard work had aged them all. Humanity would be proud, Dae-ho replied. Down in the plaza, vendors sold food from dozens of worlds. Children of various species played together. Musicians performed a mixture of alien and human music. It felt alive in a way the council had never felt before. Council Director, a young voice called. Jin Woo approached, now a senior engineer despite his youth. We're ready to begin the presentations whenever you are. Dae-ho nodded. Give me a few minutes. He and Jia walked through the plaza, observing the displays. Each one showcased how different species had advanced in the past decade. Medical breakthroughs, agricultural innovations, new technologies that built upon human foundations but went further. The Telvorians had conquered their plague using modified human treatments. The Morians had developed sustainable farming that fed billions. The Quellans had made advances in faster-than-light travel that humanity had never achieved. We did it, Jia said softly. We actually survived. More than survived, Dae-ho corrected. We thrived. They reached the main stage, where Nari and Eunbi waited. The two AIs had become beloved figures across the galaxy, teaching and guiding countless students. The human defense systems powered down in exactly 4 hours, Nari reported. After 10 years, they'll finally shut off. Are we ready? Dae-ho asked. The council voted unanimously, Eunbi said. Heritage worlds will be protected by joint galactic forces. Every species contributed ships and personnel. Eunbi said it. 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 It had taken years of negotiation. But the galaxy had finally agreed. Human territories would belong to everyone, and no one. preserved as living museums and research centers, protected by all. The ceremony began. Daeho walked to the podium, looking out at the massive crowd. Billions more watched through holographic broadcasts across the galaxy. 10 years ago, he began. Humanity vanished. We were terrified, lost. We didn't understand why they left, or what we would do without them. The crowd listened in silence. Today, we understand. Humanity gave us a gift. Not their technology, not their knowledge, but something greater. They gave us the chance to believe in ourselves. He gestured to the displays around the plaza. Look at what we've accomplished. Medical advances that save millions of lives. Technology that connects distant worlds. Art and culture that blends traditions from hundreds of species. We did this, not because humanity told us how, but because they trusted us to find our own way. Applause rippled through the crowd. Daeho continued. Humanity wasn't perfect. They made mistakes, just like we all do. But they understood something crucial. True friendship means letting go. True leadership means teaching others to lead. They could have stayed and solved our problems forever. Instead, they gave us the tools and stepped aside. He paused, gathering his thoughts. In 4 hours, the last of humanity's automated systems will power down. Some of you might be afraid. Don't be. We're ready. We've proven that over 10 years of growth and cooperation. Jia stepped forward to present her report. She had spent the decade documenting everything, creating a complete record of how the galaxy adapted. Humanity left us 12 time capsules, she explained. Each one scheduled to open at specific intervals over the next 1,000 years. The first opened last month. A hologram appeared, showing the contents. Advanced scientific theories. New approaches to energy generation. Artistic works humanity created before their departure. They're still teaching us, Jia said. Still helping us grow. But now we're ready to learn as equals, not dependents. Sang Ho, a Velxian scientist, presented next. He had worked with Jinwu on breakthrough technologies. We've achieved something remarkable, Sang Ho announced. Using human tutorials as a foundation, we've developed quantum consciousness technology. We're beginning to understand what happened to humanity. And someday, we might be able to communicate with them in their new form. The crowd gasped. The possibility of contacting transformed humanity had seemed impossible. It will take decades, maybe centuries, Sang Ho admitted. But we're on the path. Humanity showed us the way, and now we're walking it ourselves. As the presentations continued, Daeho slipped away. He walked to the empty human ambassador section in the council chamber. The 47 seats sat vacant, preserved exactly as they had been 10 years ago. Nari materialized beside him. You come here often, she observed. I think of them, Daeho said. Wonder if they're watching somehow. I believe they are, Nari replied. In fact, I know they are. She brought up data on a screen. Strange energy patterns in deep space, detected by long-range sensors. These signatures appear near major events. When Jinwu made his breakthrough, when the Telvorian plague was cured, when the Council voted to protect heritage worlds. The patterns are consistent with transformed consciousness. Daeho studied the data. They're still here, still caring about us. In their own way, yes, he smiled. Hyunsik, you old friend. You're still watching over us. The ceremony concluded with a moment of silence. Every being in the plaza, and billions watching across the galaxy, stood quietly, remembering humanity, honoring their sacrifice. Then, as the moment ended, something unexpected happened. The holographic displays throughout the plaza flickered. A new message appeared, one that hadn't been scheduled. It was simple. Just a few words. We see you. We're proud. Keep going. The message vanished as quickly as it appeared. The crowd erupted in shock and wonder. Had humanity sent a message from beyond? Or was it a pre-programmed surprise? Daeho didn't care which it was. He felt tears on his face. Later that evening, as the defense systems powered down across 1,200 star systems, Daeho gathered with Jia, Nari, Unbi, Jinwoo, and Sang-ho. They stood together in the council chamber. "To humanity," Daeho said, raising a glass. "To humanity," the others echoed. "They left us alone," Jia said. "But they gave us each other." Ji. "And themselves," Nari added. "We're part of their legacy. We carry their dreams forward." Sang-ho looked at the data on his pad. "I've calculated that within 200 years, other species might reach their own transcendence points, different from humanity's, but similar. Then we'll prepare," Daeho said firmly. "Just like humanity prepared the galaxy for their departure. We'll make sure future species are ready for their own transformations." "Paying it forward," Yunbi said. "That's very human of us." They laughed at that. Perhaps they had learned more from humanity than just technology. They had learned values, compassion, the importance of preparing others for success. Daeho walked to the empty human seats one last time. He placed a holographic flame above them, programming it to burn forever. A torch, passed from humanity to the galaxy. The flame flickered and danced, casting warm light across the chamber. "We've got this," Daeho said to the empty seats, to his lost friend, to all of lost humanity. "You believed in us, and we won't let you down." Outside, the galaxy continued its dance. Species worked together, learned together, grew together. Humanity's absence had created a void, but the galaxy had filled it not with any single replacement, but with cooperation and shared purpose. Somewhere beyond physical space, in dimensions the living couldn't fully comprehend, humanity watched, transformed, but still present, still caring. And in the Galactic Council Chamber, a holographic flame burned eternal, reminding everyone who passed that the greatest legacy isn't what you achieve yourself, but what you enable others to achieve after you're gone. The torch had been passed. The galaxy carried it forward, into an uncertain but hopeful future.